Hi everyone! This presentation is to let you know how you can present your own research at various professional political science conferences. First, we'll go over the main steps and then we'll delve into each step in a little bit more detail. This PowerPoint is just to get you started with what I have learned, and there's no single right way to do this process, but this PowerPoint is meant to be a guide. So here are your main steps. First, you will need to write and submit an abstract, and that abstract may either be accepted or not accepted to the conference. If it is accepted, then you will apply for funding, get your paper ready, attend the conference, and follow up with anyone you spoke with while you were there. If it is not accepted, it's okay. Just reevaluate your abstract, maybe ask another professor to look it over and help you edit, and try again next time. The rest of this PowerPoint is based on the assumption that your abstract is accepted. So as you can see on the bottom arrow, we are on the first step, writing and dealing with your abstract. When you are writing an abstract or proposing a project, you are in essence applying to present your work at the conference. And there are lots of conferences that you can submit your work to. These are the conferences that, to my knowledge, accept work from undergraduates. The Western Political Science Association, PolNet, the Southern Political Science Association, the Northeastern Political Science Association, and the Midwest Political Science Association. These are just the ones that I know of, so make sure you do your research. And on each association's website, there should be information about how to submit an abstract. You should look for something called Call for Papers. Now we'll talk a little bit about how to write the abstract itself. Abstracts are usually about a paragraph long, but make sure to check the word or character requirements as they may vary by association. There are three main components of an abstract. First, you're going to want to state what the literature says about your research area or your project. Second, you'll want to highlight what does your own research show. For example, does it confirm or reject a major theory? What are your own findings or your anticipated findings? And third, how do you show this? In other words, what methods did you use? This is a great step to ask faculty members and graduate students for help to help you edit your abstract. And if it's your first time writing an abstract, don't get discouraged if it takes a few drafts. I wrote a 7-page paper for my first project proposal because I had no idea what I was doing until I went to talk to professors and graduate students. So after you have consulted with people and when you're ready, submit your abstract to the conference. Assuming that your abstract is accepted, you will need to apply for funding to attend the conference. In order to do this, you will have to write a funding proposal, which includes a statement of purpose and a budget. The statement of purpose should include information on why it is important for you to present your research. For example, do you need feedback on how to move forward with your project? Is it useful for you to get presentation skills? Additionally, you will also need an itemized budget. This will usually include how much it will cost for you to get to the conference, how you are getting to the conference, where are you going to stay once you are at the conference, and the conference registration costs. You can turn in this budget and your statement of purpose to Crystal Paul and Professor Fountain with a very nice email letting them know that you have been accepted to present at a conference and asking if there is any funding available to support your travel to this conference. If you would like to apply for funding at the college level, contact Susan McDonough and ask if she knows of any funding that is available to support your travel to the conference. If you get funding from the department, then Erin Tauscher will be helping you allocate your funds appropriately. We're now on the third step, preparing your paper. When you are accepted to the conference, you will be assigned someone who's called a discussant. This person will help you read your paper and give you suggestions. So make sure to get your paper to your discussant in a timely manner. If they give you an exact date to have your paper to your discussant, please abide by it. If they don't give you an exact date, convention is that you would provide your paper to the discussant and the rest of your panel about 2 weeks before the beginning of the conference. In order to help yourself meet these important deadlines, you should be setting internal deadlines for yourself. For example, when will you have your literature review written? When will your finding sections be finished? This is another good step to involve faculty members and or graduate students. You can ask them to read over your paper before you send it out. You will be presenting your work in one form or another. It can either be as a poster or as a paper panel presentation. In either scenario, you should be going through your paper to pull out the points you would like to highlight. Remember to practice your presentation a few times so that you can give it confidently. If you're on a paper panel, make sure that you respect the time limit, if you have one. You can ask your discussant or the chair of your panel about this. Also, if you are planning to use a PowerPoint, make sure that they have the AV equipment, as not all conferences do, and if they do not, then you might want to consider having a handout instead, if you have a visual that you would like to include as part of your presentation. If you have a poster presentation, then you should have a short 3 to 5 minute presentation about your research. It's kind of like an elevator pitch, and clearly you need to be prepared to explain parts of your poster as people come by and talk to you. Conferences are also a great way to network with people. So to take full advantage of this opportunity, you should be doing your homework before you go. One way to do this is to check the program once it is posted to see who will be attending this conference. And also, which panels would you like to attend? You can pick out which panels. It's kind of like being in a candy store. You can pick which panels you would like to attend and exactly when you are going to attend them. If you are planning to apply to graduate school, you should be especially careful in checking who will be there and who you feel like you should be networking with. Speak to faculty members of the institutions you would like to apply to and graduate students too. And if someone's research seems very relevant to yours and you would like to make sure that you have the chance to talk to them, you can email them ahead of time and ask if they will meet you for coffee to talk about their research. And whenever you are emailing, make sure to use the proper emailing etiquette. Introduce yourself so that you're a student at UMass Amherst, and let them know that you're interested in their research. Remember that not everyone will email back. They're busy, but I have gotten back some emails, and it was absolutely great to meet with them. So even though not everyone will email back, it is still worth your trouble to try and network with people and to set up meetings before you even get to the conference. So it is your first day of your first conference. If you get there before or during panels, look for the registration desk. This is where you can get your program and your name tag. And sometimes there's food and coffee there as well. Just as a quick note, if you are staying in the conference hotel, then you can ask them to hold your bags for you at the front desk, even if you cannot yet check into your room. This is really, really helpful so that you don't have to lug your bags to every single panel throughout the day. While you're at the conference, try to attend as many panels as possible. Remember, you're not just representing yourself, but also your department and UMass Amherst. Show courtesy while you're at these panels. Stay off your phone. Try to get to the panels on time. I understand that sometimes you're talking to someone after a panel and you can't get to the next panel exactly on time, but do your best. At the end of most of these panels, there will be a time for questions from the audience. This is a great time to ask any questions that have popped into your mind while someone was speaking. And I know that it can be intimidating if it is your first conference, but everyone else in the room is a researcher as well who does not have all the answers, and you have every right to make your voice heard as they do. Additionally, if it is easier for you to speak with someone one-on-one rather than asking a question in front of the entire panel and the rest of the audience, you can go up to the presenters after the panel has ended and people are starting to leave. This is a great way to introduce yourself and to meet people on a more personal basis. And even if you asked a question during the panel, you can always go up to them afterwards and introduce yourself, follow up, and let them know that you thought their presentation was interesting. It's just a great way to get to meet people, and you never know when you're going to run into these people again. Within a few days after the conference ends, email the people that you had an in-depth conversation with. It can be as simple as saying, "Thank you, your project really made me rethink my own research." Or it can just be, "I would like to learn about your project in more detail. Can you please send me your paper?" if their paper is not up on the conference website. In your emails, remember to remind them of who you are, which panel you spoke with them at, if that is applicable. And if you are really, really nervous about asking people questions in person, emailing them questions after the fact is another great way to make connections. And remember, conferences really can be just a lot of fun. You are there for a professional purpose, but as these pictures show, they are a lot of fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at skchan@umass.edu. Thank you.